Hi guys, this is Carrie with Fullerton Professional Organizing. I have been really busy redecorating my master bath and updating it. And I am so happy that it's almost done. All I have to do now is do some touching up on some paint that got a little bit scratched or peeled off while installing floors and doing all the thing and putting in the door handles and all of that. And we had a new shower put in, so when they put the shower doors in, they hit the wall and scratched the new paint that was on it. So all I have to do is do some touching up, add new trim, and we are done. And it took about a month, and I felt like yesterday I did all the vinyl flooring, and I felt like I had gone to the gym and had leg day. My legs were so wobbly by the end of the day. It took us all day. So now I am ready to talk to you about organizing and being creative, organizing our craft rooms, sewing rooms, whatever creative outlet you have. If you have a space for that, that's what we're talking about, that type of organization. Now, the first thing you have to do when you are considering organizing or reorganizing your space is to take stock of what you have. Make a plan. What are your goals, hopes, wishes, and what do you have? What do you want the space to be? What is your why for the space? Make a list of current hobbies and what do you like about your space? What do you dislike about your space? How do you want it to look and how do you want it to feel? What are your goals for the space? Write out 2 to 3 goals that you have for the space. Keep in mind workflow. Everything needs to be in arm's length. If you are going to sew in your space, you may have a stash of fabric somewhere in a closet, but all the other items that you need for your sewing machine are all in arm's length. Your ironing board, it's kind of like a triangle. You have your cutting surface, your sewing machine, and then your ironing surface. Think triangle. What space, and then measure the space that you have. Okay. Now, what kind of aesthetics do you like? Do you like it bright, dark? Do you like hidden storage or visible storage? Do you want your room small and cozy, or do you want it open? Look on Pinterest for 2 things: organizational ideas and sources for those, but you're not going to purchase those until you've completely finished decluttering and you know where everything's going to go. Then you can buy what you need to fit in the space. But go on Pinterest and get ideas for how you want your space to look, feel, and the types of organization that you like. So you have that in mind while you're doing the taking apart of the space. Now you're going to declutter and figure out what really needs to be in the space. Now, there's 2 ways to do this. These ideas came from Elisa Lissard, the Scrappy wife, on YouTube. She says there's 2 ways to take it. You can go 20 minutes a day working on your craft room and decluttering and categorizing and sorting, or you can take one zone, one space at a time. Do all the sewing, do all the painting, do all the wreath making, stuff like that. and decide, does it still work? And do you still use it? Don't worry about how much money you spent on it. You just need to decide on whether you use it or if it still works. Now, the third thing is, now you've got to put it all together. Put it all back. Map out your space. Create these zones. So like I said, so everything can be in arm's reach when you need it. Okay? Your painting zone, your sewing zone, your Cricut and vinyl zone, or silhouette cutting machine and vinyl zone, planner zone. It just depends on which hobby that you are currently trying to organize. What do you need to be visible and what do you need to be hidden? There are some things, if I put them in a hidden storage, I would forget about them. And so there are some things I have in clear acrylic containers, and then there are some that I have hidden away in baskets, because those are things that I don't want to see. Wires and tape and glue and stuff like that. Those are things I don't really want to see them, so I have those in specific baskets with labels. But things that I do want to see are the buttons and beads and ribbon, and just so I don't forget what I have and I don't over purchase, and I know when to purchase more if we've run out. Now, let me do a little review of what she teaches on YouTube, on her channel, The Scrappy Wife. Elisa says, being creative doesn't mean being unorganized. She gives us steps to create function and inspiring spaces. Use your favorite projects you've made as decor in your craft space. She says, I think too often we buy into that narrative that creative people cannot be organized, and it's just simply not true. She says, anything in your physical space is also taking up mental space. While you may have enjoyed one type of hobby in the past, if you no longer are interested in it, it doesn't need to take up room in your crafting space. You do not have to keep supplies just because you paid for them. Someone gave it to you, or it was a great deal, or you used to love it and use it, but you no longer do. Give your supplies room to breathe. There will always be new supplies coming into your space. So let go of enough that you have a little bit of empty space. So if you do add to your collection, you have room for it. Start by making a plan and taking stock. Does it need to be multifunctional? What hobbies are you enjoying right now? Not hobbies that you used to enjoy. What are you doing now? What size space do you actually have to work with? What are your goals for the space? Start making a list of storage and organization containers you may need, but don't buy them yet. Next, it's time to take it apart. This means decluttering. Ask yourself 2 questions. Does it work? Does it fit with my current hobbies? Now, toss broken, expired, old craft items. If they are still good, gift them to a friend who would enjoy them, or donate them to schools, shelters, or churches. They can always use these items. And thrift stores, Goodwill, they're always looking for craft supplies when they go to Goodwill and to thrift stores. Finally, it's time to put it back together. Map out your space, Create zones for different projects. Buy your storage containers now, but be sure to measure first. Choose carefully what is going to go back into your space. Make sure it inspires you. All right, here are some other ideas that she has utilized in her craft room. Vertical shelves above your desk, or vertical shelves above doors, shelves above windows and workspaces and doors. Can hold items like books or anything that you don't use on a daily or once a year. The less used items you want up at the highest point, especially if you use some of your craft items as decor more than you do actual everyday use. Towel rods, you can hang things on towel rods with binder rings like stencils or sewing patterns. Those are good things that you can hang on so that they're visual and you don't forget you have them. Behind your door. Now there's two spaces behind your door. There's one on the actual door that she suggests, and you can use shoe pockets or paper pockets. She stores paper on the back of her door so it's more flat, but you can use a shoe bag, one of those shoe organizers with the pockets, and put all kinds of supplies in there. And also, don't forget about behind the door on the wall is another place that you can put real narrow shelves to hold paint or ink bottles or anything. She says she used to have her books there because it was more of a flat space, and when you opened the door, it didn't really impede the door opening and closing. She also, next to her desk, I have some 3-tiered rolling carts in my craft room that I use, but I never thought about the more narrower spaces, and she uses a real narrow one. Now, I have one in my laundry room that I use between my washer and dryer, and it's narrow and it holds supplies. And that's what this one looks like, except mine's all plastic. Hers has wheels, and it's made just like my metal tiered trays. So I'm not sure where you can find those, but those are really great ideas she suggested by putting on either side of your desk. So it's right there, it's narrow, you can pull it out, and you can reach anything that's in there. She also suggests desktop risers. Now, hers is glass, so she can stick her laptop and notebooks or whatever underneath, and then she still has acrylic containers on top that hold markers or any of those other items that she needs at her fingertips at her desk. So that's a good idea. She likes everything to be clear and visible. I probably would want everything on my desk to be hidden storage. But again, riser just gives you double the surface space to use, and her desk is big enough that she can still use the front area in front of the riser. And then she uses the sides of her desk. You can put those little hooks that don't ruin the paint, command hooks on the side of all your workspace tables, and hang things that you use at that workspace, like your vinyl cutting mats on the table where your vinyl cutter is. Things that you need at your desk will be hanging there. Maybe even rulers or scissors, or little trash bins can hang on those hooks so that you have it right there. And then she also has pegboards. Pegboards are great for using wall space, or the backs of shelves can be a space to hang all of your craft supplies. All right, guys, we are going to, let me just mention a few other things. Command hooks are great to use in your space. Clear plastic totes are great to use in your space. Let me see if I can find, let's see, storage bins, modular storage units, let's see, drawers, and what are some other ideas? You can have a printer station. I have a little chest of drawer where I have all my printer paper in the top drawer, and the ink, cardstock, and then on top is my printer. I do have scrapbooking stuff in the drawers, and my vinyl rolls are in the drawers. And let's see, these ideas come from Hailey McAra. Hailey gives detailed tour of her craft room filled with ideas to inspire you in organizing your own craft space. She says, don't overcrowd your drawers and storage spaces. Leave room to grow. We talked about that. Hailey says, I have to be very careful how I keep things organized in here because I am in so many different types of crafting that if I didn't have a system in place, it would just be chaotic mess. She says, adding wheels to your craft desk makes it easy to move out of the way when you aren't using it. I have a bookshelf where I made a place to slide a table in, so that when I don't want that table there, I can slide it out and put it away. I am using a antique vanity as my desk, so, and it already has wheels so that I'm able to move it around as I need it. Let's see, what else does she say? Storage cubes work well for craft storage because they are modular and can be configured in many ways to hold the supplies you have. You can also use the top surface of them to store your vinyl cutting machines. Then think outside the box when choosing a craft desk. It can be a kitchen island, or the Scrappy wife, what she did was she took a few items from the house, put them all together. Some were drawers, some was a small desk, and then when she put them all together, if they were not the right height, she created boxes that fit on top of those spaces, so that when she went to Lowe's, she took a big wood surface, plywood surface, and created a desk. So now, with all those pieces underneath, it looks like one cohesive unit instead of broken into many pieces. So that's a great idea, and that is what I used to do in here. I had like an L shape, and I just had everything, all of my little shelves and dressers, all of that was underneath, and I had like an L shape. But I did get tired of that, and I've done something different in here. It's ever evolving. Um, Think outside the box. We already talked about that. Adding command hooks to the sides of your craft desk. We already talked about that. Allows you to store paper trimmers, paper mats, and other tools out of the way, but still easy to reach. Clear 12 by 12 storage bins are perfect for not only scrapbooking paper, but also holding rolls of vinyl. Vinyl sheets can be stored in a scrapbook album as well. Photo storage containers will also hold cutting dies, hot foil dies, stickers, and lots of other supplies. I love binders. Binders are great. Instead of storage, instead of photo albums, you can also use binders. Now, wrap fabric around pieces of foam board. They can then be stored vertically, making it easy to see what you have. But if you have a whole sewing room full of fabric, then the best thing to use is those comic book boards. And all you have to do is type in comic book boards in the description, and you'll find out exactly what those are. It's just cardstock, all cut to exactly the same size, and you can wrap your fabric around it, and they come in stacks of 50 to or 100. Rolling carts are easy to move and roll out of the way when not in use. They are great for storing craft supplies that work together for one particular craft. I have all of my paints in one rolling cart, and I have all of my glues and hot glues and stuff like that in another rolling cart. Take advantage of vertical space using pegboards and dress them up with and trim them with frame them to make them look cute and pretty. All right, guys, those are some great ideas. Now I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, and we'll have more tips and tricks for everything that you need to organize. So subscribe and share, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.